Hai nhớ rồi, sống đi phong dưa nó nói của cho nên đó trả cá mù say nên nó thế sa nó thổ nhiều nó nó nói giờ mù chanh co nhớ cho họ nó đua nhớ họ nên nó river walk của yo giảm mong mù chanh co nữa của tứ thay cho bé mù say lỡ nên nó tụi đê trong con bỏ đi cha ta là nó lúc nó cũng yêu giả mù chanh có nè bọc của giả nó chế nè sát sát đi cha nó cho họ tia của sa tia bé cô muốn thì chống bé chọn phong cô mù sẽ sai cho chống cờ ta chỉ mà tiểu nè con ba chỉ chia nè cô chỉ tao giả mong nhau họ vì vợ qua này để rồi của gia tù xuống đây mùa nam mốt đồ nó là cô chỉ bao thế này vậy của hai thiên này đến nếu xuyên đến đó sai giờ lý do là cô giàu chia chấp là thì của tôi cho đấy khai chơi rong câu này của xã tuần hạ của cho khai nhớ mong của xí nhớ trong đó nó của cô tuần chỉ cho phong dương lo thế thay nhưng là non cho bé một chanh co thế này nên cho bé mùa.
So this part of the river that we've been on, this is all the natural flow of the river. It's a natural horseshoe bend. The river flows to the left, we're going to head to the right into a man-made part. We're entering into the flood channel. We're leaving through floodgate 4. Now when it rains really hard, floodgate 4 will rise up out of the water like a drawbridge. Keeps the water at the exact same level in the horseshoe bend at all times. There's never any flooding back there. The hotels, all the restaurants, they're all completely safe flooding. That doesn't rain very often. San Antonio, when it does, it can rain really hard, really fast. Flooding used to be a huge problem for downtown. In 1921, we had a flood that caused a lot of deaths, property damage, so the Army Corps of Engineers came in here, built this flood channel for us, and put an end to all our downtown flooding problems. And there were a lot of prominent businessmen that wanted to fill in and pave over that other part of the river we were just on, make room for more buildings and streets. But lucky for us, two women had the foresight to put a stop to that. It was Emily Edwards and Raina Maverick Green. They formed the San Antonio Conservation Society in 1924. And a few years after that, there was a graduate from the University of Texas by the name of Robert H.H. Hudson. And he designed the entire Riverwalk at the age of 27. Presented his plans to the city that he approved in 1929. Still wasn't completed until 41 after the Works Project Administration took over, but Hudson is still known as the father of the Riverwalk. He designed every walkway, staircase, every planter, lamppost, bench. Everything you see in the horseshoe bend is pretty much Hudman's design. Now, he didn't design this walkway over here on the right. That's fairly new. It's been there about 14 years. That was a gift from the Drury Plaza Hotel. It's an 850-foot walkway that connects floodgates 3 and 4. Now you can walk all the way around the horseshoe. Over here to the left, through the trees, it's hard to see anything back there, but it's main plaza, established in 1731 by Spanish settlers from the Canary Islands. They used to be the heart of the city. There's also San Fernando Cathedral back there, built in 1739. Still houses some of the remains of the heroes from the Battle of the Alamo. Find yourself in San Antonio River today, please don't panic. Just stand up, walk right out. It's only about 3 to 4 feet deep. You should be right. So we're going to start off the tour here just after this bridge. It's an area known as Avito, or Little Village. And this area was settled by the Spanish soldiers and their families back in the 1700s. If you go up this street level here, there are nice little art galleries and boutiques. Good place to shop up there. We have 2 restaurants coming up on the left. Both of those used to be German homes back in the 1850s. They were the homes of the Dashield and Mumbai families. We're getting into the Arneson Theater. It's an open-air theater. It seats 800 people. It's named after Edwin P. Arneson. He was the chief engineer of the Works Project Administration that completed the Riverwalk back in 1941. If we head through the theater, take a look to the right at the stage. You might recognize it from this congeniality. We had Sandra Bullock up there dancing around the maid and tune. Also 5 bronze bells right above the stage. Each one of them represents one of the 5 Spanish missions in San Antonio. Now we're heading under Rosita's Bridge. Rosita Fernandez played on that stage for 26 years in the show Fiesta Noche del Rio, which is still in production today. They should have finished season number 64 a couple of August ago, but the whole season was postponed. They finally came back again this June. They played through the summer. They'll be back again next May for season number 65. Over here to the right, the Briscoe Western Art Museum, which has recently opened. A lot of different artwork showing the history of the West, as well as an interactive diorama of the Battle of the Alamo. Hunchobee saddle and say they had a sword on display in there. I'm sure you've noticed a lot of the trees have lights hanging from them. So you know it takes them 3 months to put those up. They leave them up through the holidays. It takes another 3 months to take them down. Why they still leave them up all year, I'm not sure. That'll be a lot easier. They do look nice when they come on. They'll be completely on tonight by 6 o'clock. That's when the lines will grow exponentially. So if you're planning on riding tonight, get your tickets early. Last weekend we had 3-hour waits, so 2 to 6 o'clock happened to 6 close. Now we're going to head under the Preston Street Bridge coming up. This is a solid iron bridge built in the 1890s. It's called an iron ornamental bridge. There are 10 of these left in the United States, 5 around the San Antonio River. This one sits pretty low, so we're going to try and steer right to the middle of it. You might think you're going to hit your head on it, but trust me, if you don't stand up, you'll be fine. I, on the other hand, went up there as well. Go right through the middle here. And up ahead on the right, you'll see a small island with an iron sculpture on it. The sculpture is known as Father Mastonet's Table. That was a gift from artist Rolando Briceño in 1991. Put there to commemorate the first Catholic Mass that took place in San Antonio on June 13, 1691. That's also a heart-shaped island. It's known as Marriage Island. We have over 300 weddings that take place there every year. We had 4 last Saturday, 2 on Sunday. On the other side of the bridge, we have Divorce Island. Busy island. Now this part of the river is actually known as Old Mill Crossing. Back in the 1800s, Nat Lewis had his mill on the right bank. He would grind grain for the settlers. And this was also a very shallow part of the river. Settlers could cross the water their horses. Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders used to train right in the same. On the right, we have the Weston Hotel. That's built in 1999. It's a really new addition to the Riverwalk. Surrounded by all these older buildings. So just past the Weston there on the right, there's a darker red brick building. It used to be the San Antonio Drug Company from 1919 to 1963. Now it's the Homewood Suites. Got remodeled in 95. Here on the left is the Tower Light building. This one lights up the San Antonio skyline. It's built in 1927 and 1928. It used to be called the Smith-Young Tower. If you look all the way up to the top of the tower, you'll see these concrete structures jutting out of each of the 8 corners. Those are known as gargoyles. They serve as a rain drainage system. So when it rains, the water comes out of the gargoyle's mouth into the gutters below. And if you look just above the trees over here to the left, you'll see these angry little scary faces. Kind of snarling down at you. Those are known as grotesques. Now the whole building is an example of neo-Gothic architecture. The original owners, Smith and Young, were fairly superstitious. They put all these things in place to ward off evil spirits and vanities. Unfortunately, 1 year after the building opened, the stock market crashed in 1929. It cost them over $3 million to build it. They had to sell it for less than $30,000. Doesn't say much for gargoyles. I'll show you a neat little effect when we come out from under this bridge. Take a look back at the Tower Light building and you'll notice that it's transformed into a ship. It's like it's coming onto the river right behind us. You have to use your imagination.
lo nữa không biết kia liều con là thay dù là dù thay dù nữa thay dù mà dù tàu xe chậm lại liều chỉ tao muốn hành cũ về lấy chỉ tao thay để cái lý do có sản nó thay nữa có sản nó thay cả mấy bỏ hết mà nó không đã lấy cho con đã tí xí nhá để bây giờ mùi chay co nó có đã nó nữa lúc coi nhá là nó nữa chúng coi nhá là nó to to đó không được quá đã to thì nó mùi chay co là còn đã nó tàu tàu mùa á thì vô qua giảm cái máy đi nó chạy tên con là nó đây bỏ thì con này tao lá này thì sẽ chậm lại nó phần nữa có lý giải thì cũng chỉ đi là nữa thì tôi sắp tới thời nói nó chậm lại đi bây giờ mình chạy con là cũng sẽ qua giảm cũng thì cũng là rất thấp không Somebody they top Thai. They're Thai. Yeah. Okay.
Recording, yeah.
Giờ tranh coi đó, anh đi cũng có đây. Giờ tranh coi người rằm nó cái chiều. Thế nên qua chỉ tao đi cũng á, cứ giờ qua tao sẽ phải đó nên có tiền nên cái mình cứ cái tao qua tao nó sợ. Okay. Beautiful, everybody, my friend there too. We ride the
Probably going back to that other place.
How come they only have one to fill up and then the next one will be couple people. Okay, you can talk to me Thai. Somebody. ดีใจที่ได้พบกันอยู่ที่นี่อยู่ที่เท็กซัสอาลาโมนะอยู่นี่San Antonio River Walk. Yes, everybody's here. Okay, just say hi. Thank you. Everybody's here. What is that? Umbrella. So funny. That's okay. That's the first time and last time for that.
Directly in front of us is Old Big Red. That's Adair County Courthouse, built in 1896. It's made of red sandstone and granite. One of the oldest and largest continuously operating courthouses. Very fast. It actually starts just about 6 miles north of here on the campus of Incarnate Word University. It comes up through springs from an underground lake known as the Edward River, goes through the zoo, through downtown, goes about 230 miles southeast of here, where it meets up with the Guadalupe River, flows out to the Gulf of Mexico. That big tree right in front of us. The oldest and largest cypress tree in San Antonio is over 350 years old, over 9 stories tall, also known as the sniper tree. Back in 1835, there was a Texas patriot by the name of Ben Milam. He was staying at Ornamental Palace, which was right behind us, and he was shot by a sniper from that tree right there. And now we're going under floodgate 3. This one comes down like a guillotine. Under random testing. It takes about 15 minutes for that to come down completely. It does weigh 3 tons a minute. Pretty much just took down the barbershop pole. Let's say it was a speakeasy before that. Also has the longest wooden bar in Texas at 108 feet long. And on the left is the Drury Inn and Suites. That used to be the City Public Service Building back in 1921. Just to give you an idea of the severity of that flood, if you look to the top of the first floor windows, where the 3 shields are, that's how our chance at a new life here in San Antonio. We try not to tear anything down if we can help it. Coming up on the right, you'll see Ornamental, one of our last remaining Mayan teen theaters left in the United States. We're about to go under Salinas Bridge, named after late singer Selena Quintanilla. She was photographed on this bridge, as well as Jennifer Lopez, played her in the movie Selena. Also partially filmed right up here. The beige building over here on the right, that's the Okara Hotel now. It used to be the home of the L. Frank Satellite from 1901 to 1923. They outfitted Teddy Roosevelt and Rough Riders, as well as Mexican revolutionary Francisco Pancho Villa. Right before World War I, they provided boots, saddles, and harnesses to the United States Army. And on the left is La Mansión del Rio, or Mansion on the River. It used to be the site of the St. Mary's School for Boys back in 1853. Then it was the St. Mary's Academy and the St. Mary's Law School. In 1966, two former students from the law school purchased the building. They remodeled it, opened it up for hemisphere in 1968. It still has some of the original artifacts from the boys' school in the lobby and in the lounge. Now we're going to head under the Navarro Street Bridge. And we're coming up from under this bridge. I'm going to show you a really cool optical illusion. You come up from under the bridge, everyone take a look up and to the left, where once stood a 26-story three-dimensional building, will been replaced by a 26-story two-dimensional wall. Looks like it might fall right down on top of you. Take a look up and to the left. That's the Nix Hospital right there. It's built in 1930. It's one of the country's first full-service, fully air-conditioned hospitals. Had everything from ambulance service to daycare and indoor parking. Carol Burnett was born in that hospital, as well as Oliver North, Michael Nesmith from the Monkees. Part of the river here is known as South Bank. This is where you're going to find a lot of the nightlife on the Riverwalk. It's relatively quiet now. Give another 8 or 9 hours, people will be lined up on the sides of the river screaming at every boat that goes by. Throwing things at the boat drive. Usually it is, but it's usually poured over. So give it to me in a cup, that'd be fine. Right in front of us is the Hyatt Regency. That was built in 1981. Now the Alamo is just on the other side of the Hyatt. If you're interested in going, this is a great way to get there. Come around the bend, take a look to the left. You'll see these glass doors with the headers that read Paseo del Alamo. That's the passageway to the Alamo. It's the quickest way to get there from the river level. It's beautiful water. The river goes through the building. You go through those doors, you walk through a series of waterfalls and gardens. When you get to the top, it puts you right across the street from the front of the Alamo. Now, an interesting side note, the Hyatt Regency was being designed. It had to meet strict height requirements. It wasn't allowed to cast a shadow on the Alamo at sunset. This building coming up on the right is the Casino Club building. It was opened in 1927. It used to be a German social club. That later became apartments. There was a famous author that lived there by the name of Alex Haley. He wrote a lot of books that became movies. Probably most notably was Roots. He lived there. Also actor Tommy Lee Jones lived in that building for just a little while.
You see, we coming here.
Now we're getting into my favorite part of the Riverwalk. This is River Square. This is where you're going to find the majority of the restaurants, all the tantalizing aromas.
And we have a dinner right that one.
Now normally we offer a dining boat service. We can go to any one of these restaurants, set that up. You can get a breakfast, boat, lunch, dinner. If you just want cocktails, you can get a cocktail. It's gradually making a comeback. It was on hold for a while. It's a nice way to enjoy the Riverwalk. Now the Riverwalk first opened in 1941. It didn't look a whole lot like this. It was more of a city park. Nice take family out and have a picnic. But the father and designer of the Riverwalk, Robert H.H. Hudson, he had a different vision for his design. So he put his office here in the building on the right. That's the Clifford Building. Husband's name is written above the first floor. And he put his office there to prove to everyone that a business could thrive on the Riverwalk, that he wasn't afraid of flooding. And people thought he was crazy at first. It took a few years before other businesses started to follow
Look at
suit.
the table. So they're gonna eat here.
This restaurant over here on the right is Casa Rio, first restaurant on the Riverwalk. They opened the doors in 1946. They were the first ones to do the riverboat tours, as well as the dining boats. And they also just celebrated their 75th anniversary and an aquarium called Sea Life. Got some new things going on for the wall. There's also a new section of the river that we won't be able to reach on May 30th, 2009. Now, normally if you get there by boat, you can take one of our Rio shuttles. Unfortunately, the real shuttles are not running, but if they were, they'd pick you up, they'd take you through a lot, you'd raise 9 feet, and out to the Pearl Brewery, which is now the Hotel Emma. A lot of different shops and restaurants up there. Normally they do a farmer's market on the weekends. That's up and running again. There's also the San Antonio Museum of Art and the VFW. Post 76, the oldest VFW post in Texas, is right there on the river and open to the public. So check out the museum reach if you get a chance. And just to the left here, over the mall, is the Marriott River Center. That was built in 1988, when the rest of the mall was built. The only reason I pointed out before it was there was another hotel there. It was the Fairmount Hotel, built in 1905. And they moved it 6 city blocks to where it is today on the corner of South Alamo and Nueva. That move is in the Guinness Book of World Records. We have the largest building moved that great of a distance. The record has recently been beaten, but we didn't set the record back in 1985. And it took 6 days to complete the move. Over 5 years of planning and paperwork. People lined the streets with coolers and long chairs. The whole thing was televised. Everybody went to this building. Down the street at .04. The city. The Fairmont still exists today. Go check out the lobby of the hotel. They have all the newspaper clippings there documenting the event. Looks like they're going to be unveiling this statue over here to the left pretty soon. It's called Stargazer. They're still going to put in a telescope or something now. There's a hand there. As you come around the bend, take a look to the right, you'll see a large bronze statue. That statue is San Antonio de Padua, or St. Anthony. St. Anthony was a friar in the 12th century from Portugal. That statue was a gift from Portugal for the hemisphere in 1968. St. Anthony had a huge role when it came to the naming of this river. Spanish explorers first came upon the river. It happened to be June 13th, 1691, which is the feast day of St. Anthony. So they called the river the San Antonio River. It is up to the right here. It'll be through the trees up at Street W. You'll get a good view here in a second. You'll see the top of the church steeple. That St. Joseph's Catholic Church up there was built in 1868. And it was built by German settlers. Now back in the 1800s, this whole area was hugely populated by Germans. They wanted to have a church where they could have mass in their own language. So they built themselves a church. Now to this day, every last Sunday of the month, they do all the services completely in German. They have a choir that comes in by the name of Liederpracht. They sing all the hymns in German as well. I believe that's going to be next Sunday. So if you're still in town and you're yearning for a German sermon, check it out. And out to the left here, after this big tree, you'll see the Hilton Palacio del Rio, or Palace on the River. I'll give you a little bit of history behind that hotel up there. In 1968, we had the World's Fair. Hemisphere thing going on. 7 million people coming to town for it. We didn't have a whole lot of places to put them. That hotel was booked solid 14 months before Hemisphere. All 500 rooms were completely booked. Now the big problem with that is there was no hotel there. It was just an empty space. So they needed to get a hotel built very quickly. What they did is they called on a graduate from Texas A&M University by the name of H.B. Zachary. And how he did it is about 8 miles south of here. He constructed every room, completed the carpet on the floors, pictures on the walls, soaps in the dishes, towels on the racks, Bibles in the drawers. The beds were made. He loaded those rooms on flatbed trucks, drove them into town, hoisted them up like crane, and stacked them one on top of another like Lego blocks. Our boat's coming from the building here. It's going to be on the left. If we do take a look past the first 4 floors, you'll see that every room after that is identical in dimension. This building is also in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the fastest constructed modular building of its size. They completed the entire project in just 202 working days, and they took weekends off. So it was about 9 months' time. When they finished, it was just 3 days before Hemisphere. Really, you haven't forgotten anything? Well, we had a great time on the tour. So you know, tipping is allowed, it's accepted, it's greatly appreciated by our drivers. I'm going to dock the boat here and tie it down. Give me a second to get everything secured before you stand up and let you know when it's safe to stand up and exit. Enjoy the rest of your time here. Have a great weekend and a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thanks for coming out to the San Antonio River.
Thank you. Thank you. You all done. Be back to the land. bỏ thứ nhất đầu tiên vừa mua đấy. Wow.
Yes.
People? That is my husband.
Are they on right now?
Yes, on. It's a video. I'm gonna see you in YouTube.
Yes. Nice. You guys, keep it up, man.
Nice
Keep up the
to
good work
see you
now.
guys
Have
here.
a good one.
Thank you. Came back because we know that we get lost. So we go back to the same.
This
same
is where if
street.
we go down here, when this turns, we go up,
Okay.
up to the street.
Yes.
Across the street is the park.
Wow. I hope they have an earring for me, but they don't. Honey, I like to take more pictures by the